Okay. Hi, everybody. It's me, Sade, your BAME officer here. I'm really excited for this live because we have such an amazing person. And I think you guys, well, you should have seen her on our first Figure Friday. But I'm here to introduce you to Miss Sue Liburd. Sorry, I got it wrong. But she's an amazing woman. And here's Sue. So, Sue, sorry, Sue, come greet yourself and kind of talk to us of who you are.
Well, hi. And first of all, a huge thank you for having me along today.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, absolute pleasure. And I have to say, if I'm sounding a little bit, gaga, I've been on, serious meetings all day today and hardcore. So it was just a case of a couple of times I thought, oh, I've got this session to look forward to. This is my spirits. So I really am pleased.
Love it. Love it.
Oh.
Yay.
So
just kind of explain to us who you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So I have what I feel is like one of the most fabulous positions in the world at the moment. And that is because I've got a portfolio career now. So in my portfolio, I have some non-exec directorships. So I am a non-exec director for Lincolnshire Clinical Commissioning Group. So that's the NHS that commissions and purchases all of the care for the whole of Lincolnshire. I also have an NHS England advisory role, and that relates to the armed forces. So I am the racial equality lead, or the BAME lead, for the Armed Forces Public Patient Voice Group. So when nationally the NHS is looking to design services or commission services, and it has to look through the lens of the military, my job is to make sure that they think about anybody that has served, that comes from a BAME background. So whether they're serving now or whether they have served in the past, so they are veterans. So I have that responsibility, which is absolutely fabulous, I've got to say. But I'm also a non-exec director for some commercial organisations. Abstract. Abstract is a training and development organisation, and they operate also in the diversity space. Also, I've got a non-exec directorship enough of the non-exec directorship. I also have my own business, by the way. Okay. So, Sage Blue, which is a change and transformation consultancy. And we work with large corporates predominantly around the world, looking at recognizing where an organization is right now, where it wants to be, and helping them design that and go from point A to point B. And I also have relationships with the University of Lincoln. So I sit on the board. I'm one of the trustees and for the student union. Yay!
Yay!
Big fan, and all the student unions, shout out to you all there. And I'm also a consulting partner with the business school. And drum roll, please. Last week, I went back to being a student also. Yes. So in social sciences, the Eleanor Glanville Centre, and I have just embarked on the journey of doing my PhD in diversity and inclusion.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. Oh my God, you've done so many amazing things. It's just great to see such a powerful Black woman just doing all these things and like going back to school and everything. It's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that's Sue, everybody. But I have some few questions over here to ask you. So the first question I have is, did you have to make any hard choices for your career?
Oh gosh, do you know something? I think every career decision, it feels like a hard decision, but it's hard in a good way. So one of my core values is about continuous learning, and it's really important that we just keep growing because the world we're in right now is changing so quickly. And so the decisions that you make right now don't have to be for the rest of your life. So when I left school, I decided I wasn't going to university straight away. I went and I decided I was going to move into nursing. So I trained as a general nurse, then specialised in mental health, and then specialised in midwifery. And so, you know, old school thinking is, oh, well, you started life off in, you know, healthcare, so therefore you're going to spend the rest of your career doing that. I didn't. So I then did the right. You know, I was looking, because I was very, very ambitious. I was looking at, you know, what's the career trajectory. So I left the NHS and I took a commission and I joined the British Army. So I then did a short service commission. As you do, an army officer then for 7 years, and then on leaving there, I went to the charitable sector. And on leaving the charitable sector, I then went into the commercial space. And each time I was just progressing my career, getting into more senior roles, but just growing and developing. And then, you know, on leaving the kind of the commercial corporate world, I then set up my own business, got into consultancy, and now, like I said, I've got this amazing portfolio with advisory roles and coach and I mentor. And each stage is quite a challenge, because you go, well, I kind of know what I'm doing, I'm quite comfortable, but for me, if I'm not growing or evolving, then I need a new challenge, you know? So
I get 100%.
Take a breath in and just sometimes a bit of a leap of faith.
Oh my God. I love it. It's so amazing just to hear you talk. I love it. The second question I have for you is really amazing, by the way. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Sue has an MBE, which is amazing. So I want to know, how was it? How was it when you were awarding an MBE? Like, you saw the Queen, you had the whole ceremony. It's like, ooh, just ooh.
Oh, well, first of all, I had no idea that I was going to get this award, so to speak. So the first time I became aware of it was when I was working from home that day, and some post came in through the letterbox, and you know, you pick up the post. In fact, I was having a conversation with my sister and had the phone between my ears, you know, as you do, and I was opening some post, chattering away, and I nearly dropped the phone. I was like, because there was this letter saying that I've been, you know, awarded this, you know, prestigious award. But the thing about it is you have to keep quiet about it. So I have to write back and tell them that I'm accepting it. And then you have to keep quiet, absolute, confidential, can't tell anybody, keep it quiet. So that was in the round about this time of the year, autumn. And I was in the New Year's honours list. So I couldn't tell people publicly until the new year.
Oh my God, I can just imagine.
I know, can you imagine? You've got to and then come January, it's in the public domain, you're in the list, and then it just went ballistic. You know, the phone's ringing, people are noticing. And then it was a few months later that I got to go to the palace to get my award. And it was an amazing day. Amazing, amazing. It wasn't the Queen herself that gave me mine. She does the award. So I've got a certificate and everything else. And I've got a gong, a medal that I can wear. But I had Princess Anne. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Princess Anne.
Oh my God, that's so amazing.
Yeah,
that's just I just can imagine the whole excitement, the whole feels from that. It's just like, and keeping it quiet.
You know, red carpet, the guards there, ceremonial. You walk, you have a conversation. She pins it on you. Absolutely amazing.
So great. I can just imagine the emotions and keeping it quiet. Oh my God, I actually could never do that. I'm like, I need to tell someone. I just need to. Oh, so I have another question for you here. Do you have any advice for students who possibly want to go in the same route as you?
Oh, absolutely. Now, first of all, you can never do somebody else's script. Please remember that. So it will always be your own unique journey. But what I say is, I want everybody, be ambitious for your life. Be more ambitious for you than you possibly can think. Because so many people set their barrier or their ideas for themselves quite limited. And I just think, you know what? We are living in a phenomenally exciting time. And I know this year's been challenging, do not get me wrong. So I acknowledge that. But this is a time whereby, you know, we can almost be whatever it is that we want to be. So be a bit more ambitious. So I'm still ambitious, which is why, at my grand age, I've decided to go back and do a PhD. A few years ago, I did a degree in herbal medicine, So it's all about, there's 24 hours in the day. So really live the 24 hours, live it. And you don't have to do things, you can hear my passion, you don't have to do things linearly. This is the thing, people have a mindset of, I'll just do this one thing now and then I will finish. So my advice is you can do things in parallel if you've got the energy and you've got the will and you've got the drive. So you can work and you can study, can't you? I mean, people are already doing that.
100%. That's so amazing.
You can socialise, all right, not quite much in Corona times, but you can have a social life, you can study, and you can do a job that you love.
100%. 100%. I love it so much. So yay. Next question was, so I don't know if you guys know this, but Sue is also an amazing author. I read a couple pages of your book of so she does self-help books, which is amazing. So there was a question, how was writing your book? So like, how did you feel the emotions you're going through it and everything?
Oh gosh, that's really interesting actually, because I set myself a challenge, as I do. I had it on my bucket list, it's someday I'm going to write a book. And it was January, it was the new year, and I was revisiting my, my goals, my aspirations, and I thought, something, that one's been on there for a while. Either I do something with it, or I put it down, because it's just a story that I was telling myself that was never happening. But do you know something? It was liberating, and it was liberating because I find myself, I've got to write a lot of reports, if I'm consulting, I've got pieces so I'm always writing something. And again, because as we all know as students, we're writing assignments, we're writing essays, we're, dissertations, So I thought, well, what's stopping me from writing a book, for heaven's sake? And it was just a case of, well, nothing. So I did let's give it a go. And so the first book that I wrote, I was blown away. That was all around executive coaching and how to make it work. Some of the practical things that people could do. And when I got the book, it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm a author, I'm published. But then it inspired me to go, right, what's the next one I can write? And I really wanted to talk about careers and changing careers, and this, and how the job market's always changing. So, the jobs we have today, there'll be different jobs tomorrow, and there'll be different jobs that, 10 years from now. So I just wanted to put something together, so give people some tools and some tips, so you can and you must, all around what you can do in changing times for your career. Yeah.
Oh my God. Amazing. And like, if you can read a couple pages of her book, her books, by the way, books with plural there, on Google. I'm pretty sure you can order them from Amazon and Kindle, but guys, you should go read them. I read a couple and they seem amazing. That they're actually great, but so beautifully written. I loved it. Another question. Oh, on the topic of writing books, anyways, what would you say to students who are doing kind of English/writing courses? Like, what would you say to them if they want to go down the path of being authors or publishing something or anything like that?
Well, first of all, the simple message is just do it. Don't be, too precious around perfection. I have a tendency, you just want to keep reiterating. It's just to start, that the art is starting. And there are times when we all get writer's block. So, I'm in a process of writing another book at the moment, and I've had to put it down because I'm just going, it's just not working. Just put it down. But don't put it down for too long. So there's something about getting all of it, even if it's a bit rough and ropey, get it down and then go back and start editing, and when you think you've got it into a good state, then give it to someone that can proof it. Or if you're writing a couple of chapters, then give it to some people like and trust, and just ask them for their opinions. Is it landing well or is it not landing well? but it's just about having a go. Just have a go.
100%. I love it. It's you're so amazing. Like, I just get so happy when I hear you speak. Another question is, who's your biggest inspiration / who's your biggest inspiration for your line of work? If you have an inspiration.
Gosh. Oh my goodness. That's a tough one because again, at different stages of my life, I have different people that inspire me, and for the different hats that I wear, there are some people. So close to home in terms of family, one of my big inspirations for many years, and still today, although she's passed, is my mum. Yeah, my mum passed 11 years ago now. She died, and but still, and I go up to the cemetery regularly, and I go up and I have these chats, and I can still hear some of her advice and guidance. So she's in my power team. So I have this notion of this power team. So I've got my mum in my power team. I feel as though I need to talk about dead people, and I don't mean to do that.
That's right.
But Anita Roderick, she was the founder of the Body Shop. Oh my gosh. Oh. She was a pioneer of her time, pioneering. So I've got her on my power team. So I've read everything about her when she was alive, but obviously she's passed now. And I've noticed what her daughter's gone on to do. So I draw inspiration. Again, I love comedy. So I just think, oh my goodness. So from Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle. So these are people who really fine-tuned and crafted their art, and there's nothing more than having to stand up in front of a large audience. You are vulnerable. You're only as good as your last gig, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so I'm inspired by comedians. I'm very much a futurist as well. So there are some people like Peter Diamandis. Peter Diamandis is he was the founder of the X Prize. And he's funding a project at the moment that is taking technology to outer space to mine asteroids, because we're depleting, obviously, our planet resources. Yeah, so he's in my power team. So we can see I've got what I call, living. I've got people who I know, Zaha Hadid. I've got artists. Boris Salcedo is one of my favorite artists, and the work he does is phenomenal. It's very thought-provoking, very edgy, but disrupt thinking. So I like things that just disrupt thinking, and that keeps me fresh, and that keeps me disrupting myself. So that's what I typically I lean to. So as you can see,
amazing.
Find inspiration in lots of different places. Yeah.
That's 100% so cool. I mean, like, the ranges of inspirations, like, from comedy to your mother, it's like, wow. And it's just like a great way to like have different people, but like a different type of inspirations here and there to kind of just keep you motivating. And that's something like I think everyone as students, like, even what I need to hear, so like I know that not to keep like in one stagnant place, but to keep moving, to keep seeing different people and keep like noticing other people and all that stuff. So that's just amazing to hear, to be honest.
Pleasure.
One other question is, so obviously you're going back to do your PhD, but what did you study before your PhD to get into your line of work and to get into everything you're doing right now?
Oh my goodness me! So, obviously in terms of health originally, nursing, midwifery, mental health. Then I went on and did advanced diplomas in psychological trauma, psychology. Behavioral psychology in particular. So there was all of that stream. When I then moved more into learning and development, HR, I've got a master's degree in human resource management. I've got a postgraduate certificate in education with a bias towards health. And I'm obviously very, very interested in business. So I did a certificate and then a diploma in management studies, postgraduate. And then I just carried on with, what I call CPD. So, coaching qualifications. I'm a, high performance coach, for example. So I went into that field of specific education to support the roles that I was doing.
Mm.
And then 2016, I was starting to feel a little bit stagnant, and I'm particularly interested in integrated healthcare. So I was thinking, well, I've got mainstream. Well, actually, let me go and have a deep dive in terms of complementary medicine, which is when I did my degree, my BSc in herbal medicine. And then coming out on the back of that, as I say, I do a lot in the diversity space. I'm speaking a lot about, my intersections around gender and race in particular. And regularly I'm asked to comment, I'm asked to write papers, to present at conferences. So I got to the point where I'm going, we need to take a look at what organisations can be doing. I want to design the next playbook for diversity and inclusion. I think the playbook that we've got at the moment isn't quite working. So it's like, well, do you know what? If not me, then who? So hence then go on and do the PhD.
It's amazing, like just wow. But on the notice of your PhD, so how do you find being a student? Because I mean, I've been a student for, let's say, a year now, so I'm in second year obviously, but I can't imagine how you must feel, like someone who's gone back to education and is doing all these things. Like, how do you feel being a student right now?
Do you know what I love about being a student? First of all, is the learning. By the way, I hate exams. Exams. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. What are exams about? And I appreciate they've got to test our knowledge ever so often, but exams. And I must just want to say about exams just for a moment. Over the years, I haven't been a straight A student all of the time. I remember when I did my master's, and my specialism was employment law, and I failed my employment law paper. And I failed it by a few marks. And obviously friends and colleagues did Sue, why don't you resubmit, get it marked again? And it's like, no. So I did a full resit, a couple of months later, and knocked it out of the park. Great scores, no problem. Ended up with a great master's. Don't get me wrong, with merit. But what was really interesting is that going back and really revisiting and doing a really deep dive around employment law ended up being a particular specialism of mine. So wherever I have failed something, I use that as learning. I go, okay. I use it it must be a bit of a signpost. So I go back, do a really deep dive. So, for example, when I was doing my back in the day doing my diploma in management studies, I failed one of my finance papers, went back, redid that, and in passing that, phenomenal. So now when I work with businesses, I'm all over the numbers. I'm not just about the strategy and the planning, but I deep dive into their numbers because I've got the evidence, I've got the data in terms of business when you really look at the numbers. So, educationally, a couple of failures have ended up being an area of specialism. So I want to just emphasize, don't worry if you don't pass something the first time. Yeah, you know what? You can resit it. It's okay. Don't be done if you have to resit,
That's so true. I love it. But that's such an amazing thing to say, especially as students now. I mean, a lot of us are stressed about exams and things are happening, especially during this pandemic. But just to hear that, it's okay to fail exams, you have resits, you have backups, it's fine and everything. It's something that we need to hear, especially for someone like you who's so powerful and empowering so many people within your line of work. And even students nowadays, right now, I feel so empowered to just go out there and do everything I can in the space of 5 minutes. And I love it so much. I just love that energy. It's yes. Just do it.
And be a continuous learner, honestly. Don't just, I know it's easy for me to sit here and say that, but, once you've finished, your degrees, then, come back and, do some more study a little bit later. And that's the beautiful thing, because for me, what I find is ever so often periods of time, my brain starts to go mush. It starts to feel samey. And one of the things we have as right at the tips of our fingertips when we're back being students is we have access to a really good library. We've got access to to tutors. We've got access to, you know, our academics. We've got access to each other just to bounce some ideas off, you know, and there's a camaraderie that takes place. You just build a community when you're a student that disappears when you're out of learning. So there's some magic about being a student that you
100%.
may not notice at the moment.
100%. When you're a student, you're able to obviously learn, but you're able to meet new people, new cultures, and everything, which is just amazing about like learning and being a student, like especially at our age and everything. On the context of your business, so your business obviously is going amazing, and you're doing amazingly well, obviously. But for like people who want to go into business, who want to start up businesses, what's the advice you would give to them?
So first of all is don't listen to anybody that says you can't do it. If you are really, really clear, you want to do it, then off you go. You know, I do encourage people to do a business plan, and not one of those that is what I call so off-putting that it just kills your dream and your aspiration. But you do need a framework. You do need to know some key things. You know, what is it that you're offering? You know, so what's your service? What's your product? So what you're doing. So you do really need to be clear about that. Again, you do need some infrastructure. And you've got to understand that businesses don't succeed overnight. We all get fed a diet that, you know, I don't know, we look at, I don't know, Elon Musk, or we look at Oprah Winfrey and her business. What you don't often see is the hard knocks, the failures along the way. So, you know, that's one of the things I would argue. So clear product offering, get your pricing right. And this to all of the women listening is one of the problems with women in businesses. We do not charge enough.
Period.
Yeah. Facts. So increase your prices, okay? And know your audience. Know your audience. As long as you're solving a need, you know you've got a business. Is there a need out there? And if somebody else is doing what you're doing, that's okay. I treat those as proof of concept. If nobody's doing what you're doing, then you know what? It may well be that there's a reason why somebody isn't doing what you're doing. So, you know, it's important to have fresh ideas. Don't get me wrong. Not everything has been designed. I get that. But if nobody at all is doing what you're doing, that for me is a red flag. And if you're looking for investment, that would be a red flag as well.
100%. Definitely. I love the advice so much. I can't wait to see this people. Oh, you're such an amazing person. I love it. I just love it so much. Two final questions. So obviously it's Black History Month. So you've probably seen all the posts, the stuff the university is doing, the SU. You saw that you are First Figure Friday of like the month. Like I was so excited to have you as a First Figure Friday. So my question to you is, how did you feel being our First Figure Friday? And like, what's your favorite part of Black History Month?
All right. Well, first of all, I was so chuffed. It was just like, ooh, it's like winning an award. Yay. Oh, I made it. Oh, wow. So yeah, I was really, honestly, genuinely quite humbled by it. I was just like, wow, you've chosen me. You know,
I was so happy.
I was, honestly. So thank you, thank you.
No, thank you for just being you. That's amazing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I can't be anybody else other than myself. You know. Do you know something? Black History Month this year, I think, has been phenomenal. And it's been phenomenal for, I think, a number of reasons. One is, you know, Black Lives Matter has become, you know, on the world stage as a topic and as a matter that everybody needs to pay attention to. I think there's a window, by the way. I don't think, you know, we're going to have this necessarily open for us, you know, forever. So we've got to make hay while the sun shines. But because of that, We've had celebratory events. We've had history events. We've got current affairs events. We've got stuff happening in communities, stuff happening in education. And it really feels that it's just diverse and it's fresh and it's contemporary. And I just think this year, Black History Month has been on steroids, you know, amphetamines, another level. Some previous years, it's been a bit dry, you know. But, you know, this year, I think we're rocking it. I do.
Yeah, I love to hear that. Love to hear that so much. And our last final question is going to be kind of a weird question, but here we go anyway. How do you take your tea? Do you put milk first in your tea, or do you put the tea bag first?
Well, that's an interesting one because it makes some assumptions. Now, as you've heard, I'm a herbalist, so I'm a herbal girl. I'm a herbal tea drinker. So no milk. No milk at all. So you can't see it, but you know, I've got my herbal mug here. And whether it's fresh herbs or it's one of my favorite teas is I'm an oolong green tea drinker.
Oolong's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Or I make some of my own herbs, you know, so and tilia. So loose tea. So it's always, you know, loose tea, and then I pour the water. Water goes on top of leaves, not water and put things in the water, you know, other way around.
That's so true. But yes, everyone. So for everyone's watching us this live and everything, this is Sue Liburd, like amazing woman, so empowering. Like I'm so grateful to have you here today and like talking to us. I'm so sorry if this took some like part of your time out today, but like just having you talk and just seeing you like just the positivity and the like good vibes that you're like bringing out to like this live and everything is amazing. I love it so much. Other things to note on. So Black History Month is definitely still not over yet, guys. There's still things to do. We have activities. Tomorrow is the sip and pay, and on Saturday is the screening of Us. So get your tickets for that, guys. It's coming. They're out already. I'm just so excited to have Sue Liburd here today. Like, this is an amazing life just to have her here. Such an empowering woman. If you guys want to see her more, she's on Twitter. You can find her on Google, read her books, everything. Just someone to have like her in your life. It's just great. Like we can obviously tell that. But yeah, so thank you for everyone for coming. And yeah, see you guys later. See you guys soon. Bye.